Hey guys, I'm back with another one of my tutorials, and what I'm going to show you today is, for those of you that are in the career mode, how to get past this wall, essentially, of science. What you want to do, what I'm assuming what a lot of you want to do, is go to the moon and, land and gather some science and then come back. And that's what I'm going to show you, or at least I'm going to attempt. I'm going to quick save at one point and then so then I have to, relaunch if I mess up for some point or for some reason. But um, anyway, so I'm going to show you using just these parts how to construct a ship, how to get up in space, how to what to do with your orbit, how to manipulate it, and then how to get to the moon, land, and we're going to actually try to come back this time. So good stuff. That's what's in store for us. Good stuff is in store. So I'm gonna instruct you on my ship first, and just a quick thing that I want to explain. I do these videos that are so long. My previous one on docking was 50 minutes. This one's probably gonna be a good amount of good length. They're so long because I don't want to hold anything out. I want to let the viewer, decide if they want to skip this portion, if they don't want to know how to build a ship, or, if you've been to the moon or whatever, you can skip uh, time on the YouTube video. I don't want to skip anything, just in case someone doesn't know what they're doing. But so what I did was how I built my ship or my rocket. I used the command pod MK1, it's the one you get at the beginning, and I added a parachute on top. That's where is that utility? Yep. I added a parachute on top of it, and uh, then I added a decoupler because what you want to do is when you come back to Kerbin, you're gonna wanna have only the pod, the pod and your science stuff. Which in this case, I just took a mystery go with me just to say I took some science. But because there's plenty enough to collect on the moon. But then what I did was I added 5 of your standard fuel tanks, which is the FLT 400 fuel tank, and I added 5 of them. And on the bottom of the second one, what I did was I added an engine, and the engine is the LV909 liquid fuel engine. Okay, and that's going to be important later because you're not going to need as much thrust to get off the moon's surface and on it. So what you're going to do is then you're going to add a decoupler on the bottom of it, and then add the other 3 to make a total of 5 fuel tanks. And then what you can do, or what you need to do, is add radial decouplers, and you're going to need 6 of them. Those can be found in the structure portion, uh, and they're called the TT38K radial decoupler. Then on the bottom, you're going to need an engine, and the engine that I am using right now is this one, the LVT30 liquid fuel engine, and is the non-vectoring one, just to be sure, non-vectoring. And then what you can do, what you're going to do is you need to find in the propulsion section still the Rockomax BACC solid fuel booster. It's the large one, and you're going to want to add that on. You need 6 of them. And you're going to want to add that onto your radial decoupler. Like so. There. Is that correct? Let's check. You want to check that that right there is happening, that connection between your fuel and your decouplers. And that wasn't quite correct, so I'm going to fix it. See now? Yep, looks like there's nice and snug in there. All right, and then what I did was I took another decoupler and I added it on the bottom of the Rockomax engine. And then I took these engines are these the RT10 solid fuel booster, and I added those as well, 6 of them. And then just make sure that your staging is correct, right? When you hit space, that all of this stuff is going to happen. And then you can launch this bad boy. I'm gonna move it down, I don't know why. Okay. Then you just hit launch. Save it, launch it. I named this Moon Simple, just for kicks. So I can find it easier. Um, I have tested this flight a couple times, and what happens when I launch each and every time, except for one time, is that I have incredible problems with um, spinning, and typically I go south, but one time I went southwest, wound up like over here, the green circle did, and it's it can get ridiculous. And in this tutorial, I hope that that happens because then I can show you guys how to come out of it and how to stabilize your rocket because this design isn't going to work perfectly every time as it only happened one time that I went straight up. So hopefully um, with this launch something happens so I can show you guys how to come back from it because I think it's important and because yeah, okay, if I if I'm guessing correctly here, we're gonna spin, and we're gonna spin quite a bit, but um, we're not gonna spin on this state. We're gonna start spinning slightly on this state, the first stage. What we're gonna do is we're gonna spin up here a lot more, and I'm just gonna guess. I'm just gonna guess, but I think it's because when you look at the staging, um, when you looked at it and when we were building the rocket, the staging it's 6 rockets, but it said one rocket. It said it had one rocket and then one decouple and then 5 rockets and then five with like the little number five. Uh, and I think that's why I think it when you hit space it doesn't all fire at the same time. Maybe excuse me, or maybe it has some sort of problem and that's why. But I think this is yeah. You can see that. See how it starts to spin. Isn't that weird? Um, Last time when I tested this flight, I was like over here, because you'll essentially just go south, which isn't bad. This orange line right here, it's no, wait a minute, is that north? I think that's what it is. Um, Regardless, when your little triangle is pointing towards this orange line, which is north, that is your original position, and that's important to note. Because when you're stabilizing your rocket and stuff like that, it's going to be important for you. Um, right now, it looks like we're just kind of leaning every which direction as we are throttling with the solid fuel boosters, and it seems like there's going to be a problem, which is good. It's good for us, um, for me, right now, because I want to show you guys how to fix it later. So yeah, you see this, I mean, this is going to look horrible. You're going to be like, oh my god, I'm spinning, it's going crazy, there's no way I'm going to go anywhere with this freaking ship, and it's definitely not going to make it to the moon, and we're never going to get there. Oh my god, oh my god. Well, we're going to fix it, and you need to have confidence in me and in yourself, because it's important in Kerbal is confidence. See, look how beautifully those decouple. Isn't that wonderful? Who wouldn't want that? Okay, so how do we fix this problem? Well, what you want to do is you want to go opposite of wherever your green circle is, and you want to burn there. So for me, I just want to get it back quickly, so I'm going to settle right here. So directly to the south, essentially, and I'm going to burn. You see how that's coming back? Maybe come this way a little bit. Oh, wow, there we go. Okay, let's hit Control X because now what we want is to come back to our original position. See, remember? Because our little triangle was facing north, and now it's facing north once more. But if there were no like problems, I would have just moved my rocket from here and I would have moved it out because um, because you want to start turning it around this time. And you want to go, I like to go at around 90 degrees, but we shall see. Actually, let's check where our periapsis, our apoapsis is. Okay, it's actually pretty far up. It's at 67,000. So what you can do is go ahead and, oh my goodness. See, this is horrendous. If you guys, whenever we make it to the moon, and whenever you get this science, please, for the love of God, buy like an inline reaction wheel or something of the sort, because I freaking this is so hard. Like I don't know how I made it out of this stage of the career mode. See, it's bobbing up and down, left and right, and it just takes a lot of like manual everything, just like patience. See how it has a tendency to go down, even though it's on SAS, and you're like, SAS, do your job, but it's not. It's not going to do that for you. So all right, so I'm at 82 now at my apoapsis, and what I personally like to do, just to conserve fuel, is the way that you're going to most effectively uh, throttle affect this your orbit from left to right is by throttling at 90 degrees, by boosting at 90 degrees. That's actually falling, which we don't want. We're going to boost. This is right at 90. I'm going to go just slightly above to fix the freaking circle. But I know it's not going to say that. It's going to bob down or something stupid. Nope, there it goes. Stop it. I don't know what your freaking problem is. Anyway. You see how that's working? See how we're getting this. And this is expanding quite rapidly. And we still have, I think that's a solid amount of fuel. I mean, it'll get us pretty far. And we are just about to, I think, exit. Have we exited? Oh yeah, we've exited. Never mind. I'm sorry. We've exited the Earth, Kerbin, Earth. We've exited Kerbin's atmosphere. And so now all we're trying to do is pick up enough speed to get us into a good position in space, in orbit. We're going to do that by continuing to throttle this way. Oh, it looks like we have run out of fuel. What we're going to do is come in here, hit space, and continue with the little engine. Now, while that's happening, right, there we go, we're okay. While that's happening, I want you guys to zoom out, come find the moon, set as target. Now, when you get your orbit to where it needs to be, what you need to do is find it here. So this circle, this is the same as saying that if I were to go to it, sorry, if I were to go with this, little navigational tool and go here, that means that my rocket would be facing directly at the moon, which is good because what you want to do is eventually, right, you want to face towards the moon and then do a prograde burn, which is going to increase your speed so that we can get to it. On the other side, there is one that has a dot in the middle, and then there's a line up, and then two lines down, and that is facing directly away from your target, which will decrease your speed, and that serves you no purpose in this flight, in general, moon landings ever, in my experience anyway. But what you want to do, you want to throttle, and you want to throttle towards this. If you want to get it as close as possible, right now I don't really care because I'm fine with where my apoapsis was. But you want to get it, I'd say like right around here, or even if it's a little further to the left, like right over here at negative 10 degrees, it's fine. Because you're going to start a little early on the throttling because you're going to end a little late on the maneuver. This maneuver takes about this much time in terms of distance. So from about negative 10 to 10 or 5, And for us, since I started at like -15, maybe it'll be up to 5. We'll see. But anyway, we're headed straight towards the moon. Moon. The moon called Moon. And what's going to happen is this apoapsis is going to rise quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker if you keep this amount of throttle. What you're going to want to do is this, as this rises, you're going to want to throttle down. But you'll see this happen. Something, guys, what you need to do is two things. Have confidence in yourself and be patient. Without confidence, if you're doing this and you have no confidence, uh, you're just going to wind up thinking, oh my gosh, I'm messing up and things are going wrong. And then your moon landing will eventually not be what you want it to be. It'll be wrong. But in patience. Okay. But anyway, watch this. So you see how that's rising faster and faster? Watch where this is where my throttle is now. It was all the way up here, now it's here. Um, because we want it to rise slower and slower, because what's going to happen is as soon as I get my intersection with the moon, I want to cut the throttle. And there it is. Boom. So let me explain this to you guys, what this means, because it confused me the first couple times I played. Let me actually reposition myself. My feet are starting to fall asleep. What this means is that you are currently on this course right here. This blue course is us. And what's going to happen is if you don't touch anything, pretend that from this point on you just fast forward like over here and you go all the way out here, and then something will happen which I will show you. But something happens and you you don't throttle or anything. This purple line is showing you your new orbit after the encounter with the moon, your new orbit around Kerbin. And you're going to go right about in the middle of Kerbin. So you can land, or you can send a probe, which is what I like to do. What I did in my early career is I sent a probe out, and I just had I did EVA reports and mystery goo stuff here. And this was before the update actually, when you could do repeated mystery goo tests and send them back, and you could just reset the experiment without needing the laboratory. But so this is going to take a little longer, but I urge you to come out here and do an EVA, do a crew report, keep it, don't transmit it. There's not enough energy. There's not enough electricity on your ship to do that. All right, so um, keep it in your pod, and then just kind of let it fall back. Activate the parachutes, let it fall back, recover, do this again and again and again. But what I'm gonna do right now is actually I'm gonna quick save just in case something happens. That way I can reload it, and you guys will know. We reloaded from this point. But if you click F5, that is the quick save. See, it appears to the top right corner, quick saving. But anyway, okay, we're gonna speed up here, and I'll show you one more thing before we get to the moon, just for those new players, how to EVA a Kerbal. I'm gonna wait till I'm nice. I'm at a good. All right, so here we're gonna do it right now. To EVA a Kerbal, you can go ahead and go over whoever your Kerbal is. Mine's Jebediah, and you can click EVA. EVA will get you outside of your ship so that you can right-click your Kerbal and hit EVA report. What happens when you let go with space and all of that, I will actually leave up to another tutorial because it's just kind of time consuming and I don't want to go too off base. But I think I will make a short tutorial, maybe like 5-10 minute tutorial on what happens if Jebediah decides to go for a little tumble in space. So what are we looking at here? Let's just go ahead and fast forward this. You guys, again, just a reminder, you can skip all of this. If you know what this is and you don't want to hear me talk and describe funny things, you don't like my comedy, just go ahead and skip it all. Go to the part where it's important for you. Okay, as we're approaching this blue node is where you are gonna begin your encounter with the moon. It is going to entice us ever so gently with its gravity, and we're just gonna tumble towards it, but not completely. As we can see, if we don't react in this window between the blue node and orange node, we're not gonna get trapped in its gravity and not gonna form an orbit. Thus, we will not land. Thus, we will just tumble back to Kerbin. So, let's pick this up a little bit and enter the next stage. Actually, guys, go ahead and quick save here. Because if something happens, you want to have a save, right? You don't want to launch again and go through this entire, all this material again. So we're going, maybe a little bit, whoa, 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 faster. No, that's fine. Okay, we survived. Thank God for lag. We're gonna go now. We're gonna go towards our periapsis. What we want to do in this coming part is that we want to retrograde burn at the periapsis, which will bring this node back around, and it will eventually touch us, and we will have an orbit which will not be around Kerbin, but now around the moon, which is good. It's what we want in order to land. Okay, so I'm close enough to the periapsis now, I think, to where I can start maneuvering around to do the retrograde burn, which is here. You guys remember when I said that the circle with the X through it is the retrograde burn, which will slow you down. Not towards the target, because that doesn't exist any longer. We are at the target. How to slow your Kerbal down in general. I'm going to speed up just a little bit more. Actually, go ahead. And we'll go ahead and do it right now. Tra-la-la. I don't really know what to tell you now. We're just going to kind of wait for this to swing around. And this should be the effect you're going to have every time with this experiment. But it's like earlier, it's going to go faster and faster. So you're going to want to just throttle down, you know, stay safe. Don't drink and drive. And once it touches, you can go ahead and cut your throttle. Boom. What I like to do in this next portion is that I like to go to my apoapsis and then throttle down and bring my periapsis in. A lot of people like to bring their apoapsis in and circularize the orbit. I don't. And this actually, by the way, this is where I start auto-saving a lot, because moon landings are a little tougher than they appear all the time. And so you're gonna want a quick save, because sometimes it takes the slightest thing to go wrong. I mean, you can be just a little off of, you could be moving, let's say you're just moving to the right for some reason, you didn't throttle correctly, or you didn't accelerate. Sorry, accelerate is what I should have been using throughout this entire video, but you don't accelerate correctly for some reason, and now you're moving, in a funny direction, and then you hit the ground or you hit the moon surface with the intent to land, but now you're just tipping over and you find yourself having to redo it, and that redoing it it sucks, let me tell you. I do not recommend it, even for my worst enemies, which I don't have any, but if I did, I wouldn't want that on them. But anyway, we're going to go to the apoapsis, and we're going to swing by the retrograde, right? Because retrograde brings you back to, brings the opposite end of your orbit in, or decreases your orbit. Excuse me, it's kind of cold outside. We're having like the largest freeze in Indiana history, and it's freaking crazy. But boom, alright, you see that? Now we're going to land right there. Not right there, but that is the place in the moon which we will land. Not necessarily where that dot is, but near there, that position on the moon. Mun. I like to call it the moon called Mun because it's technically a moon, and so is Minmus. Minmus is a moon. It's just called Minmus. It's like if we called our moon, some awesome name like Ivan or something. It'd be moon called Ivan. But anyway, as you can see, we're landing on daytime. And what you want to do, guys, make sure, because we don't have lights, and this is going to suck for you if you don't do it on the daytime. When you are retracting your periapsis, make sure that the direction that you will move into is on the light, is in the light. So, for example, a good way to judge that is, where is the sun? And I just did that wrong, but let's do it this way. Just hit M, and then look at it. Where's the sun? Oh, the sun is behind us. That's good, because you want that. Because where's the moon? Oh, there's the moon. Because we're going to fall right around here, I believe, you know? And you want that to be lit up. You want the sun to be behind you. Oh, that looks a lot better, actually. I'm not as disoriented now. But you're going to want that. We're going to fall around over here, and you want the sun behind you so that when you're landing, you can actually see what is going on. Regardless, my rambling does not interest you. You're just like, please get me to the moon so I can land and get my science, because I just don't care. I don't care, mister, what you have to say to me. Fine, I will get you to the moon. Needy. Uh, resources were our electricity is fine. I've run out of electricity on this. I think I mentioned that once or twice already. Alright, so what we do next is we want to continue following our retrograde burn. Just so you can, oh man, maybe not. Let's see. How much fuel do we have? This says, oh, we have half. That's good, but not great. So, what we do is essentially if you accelerate, not throttle, but accelerate here, it'll bring your apoapsis in. It'll go woo all the way down. And it'll bring this in as well. And it'll go woo all the way around. And eventually your apoapsis will be like right over here, about where you are, because that will be the highest point in your orbit. And you will fall anywhere between, or you will fall here, and the other portion of your orbit will be here, or what, this isn't an orbit, I don't think, because it's not complete, so trajectory. Oh, I've been here before, and I named it Luna, or in my native tongue, how we call the moon. Weird. The moon, or the moon called Mun, which I call Luna in my language. Anyway, we're gonna, what is this? Time warp. That's what we're doing. We're time warping all the way down. Fast save here for me. I like this. This is a good approach. And I'm at altitude 123. I'm gonna wait till about maybe 70, and then we'll go in, and then we will start to do things that are detrimental to landing on the moon. Actually, I'm gonna do it at 90 because I just want to have plenty of time, and I don't want to confuse you guys. My weirdness. Okay. So what you want to do now is you want to turn. You keep just while you are moving in space, continue continue to stay by the retrograde burn icon. I wish there was a name for it, something I could call it, like uh, the R icon or something. I don't know, whatever. The important part is you want to keep that. You want to keep your ship tracking that icon, because that's going to slow you down, and that's going to be important since our meters per second um, are 638 and climbing, and that is towards the moon, guys. That's towards the surface of the moon. In my experience, it takes a while to the faster you're moving, the longer it takes to offset. So if you're going around like 700, you may want to start your throttle at like 30 meters, or sorry, 30,000 meters, or 30 kilometers up. But mine is not that bad yet. We'll see where that, if we continue to speed up, how fast that rises and such. We might get to 700 actually, now that I'm looking at it. 50. Yeah, we're gonna get almost there. It's, we might be at 700 by the time that this ends. and it's 695, and we're at 30,000. So I'm just gonna start. I'm just gonna hit the throttle. I'm gonna go ahead and start decelerating. Decelerating. We're just gonna start not stopping because you can't stop, but you can decelerate or unaccelerate. I know that's not a word. Just don't judge me. We're gonna start decelerating and watch this fall. Right, we're at 650, and we have about 30,000 feet to offset that. Now, because this part of the moon is not horrible, it's not a. There are craters, but they're not horrendous as they are like here. That's a pretty big crater. I know that there are some more craterous areas. Are there? Or is this? Am I wrong? I might be wrong. This might be the area, but yeah. Remember what I told you? You see how the hypothesis is shrinking? Anyway, we're gonna do. We're just gonna keep shrinking, keep shrinking. Just make sure that we're not like dying or something. We're at 400 now. Um, and it's important that this comes as close to this point as possible. Don't offset your entire momentum downward. But it's important because if this essentially the longer the distance between these 2 points, the more the more this way you will be moving, the more right you will be moving. Like if we're looking at like this, the further right you will be going when you hit the actual moon, and you can go ahead and offset that as much as we can. Just so you know, I did load one of my saves and brought it back down to about where we were at this point in the video. So that's why there's probably going to be a little sound bleep and a little distance bleep, but we're still kind of, I do this the same time every time, and so all of this, the distance we're traveling, the speed that we're traveling down, the distance that we are above should be relatively the same. What happened was, uh, I was telling you guys that these 2 points did not match. They didn't, and I was moving too far. I was moving east very fast enough to when I hit with my strut, my ship just toppled to the right, toppled over to falling eastward. So, eh, just another reason why this is important that we do this correctly. And I figured there's no reason to show you guys what I did wrong, even though I did want to show you my mistakes. That was on launch. I mean, what would happen if you get this wrong is essentially you're gonna have to spend a lot of fuel, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time fixing it, and maybe if we get a bobble, I will show you what to do. But in the better, in the case of your time and your fuel, I would suggest don't just load the last save. Remember to save and do it again because it's much simpler. Like this is not what we have going here isn't bad. I just messed it up. But anyway, so we're at 10,000 now. We have about 200 meters or 200 meters per second to offset, which is fine. It'll go down really quick. The ground, the surface is, I believe, around 3,000, something like that. So just gonna throttle offset to about 100 again. Make sure that this stupid craft doesn't go doesn't continue going down like it does on this. I hate it. I don't know why. It just hates me, you know? But anyway, throttling, we're slowing down. This will move over as we slow down more and more and more. We're at 80, and you can actually keep that. I mean, 80 is not terrible. So we're at 5,000. We still got a long way to go. Something that is important, I think, it helps me kind of just navigate. It's finding your shadow. Once you see your shadow on the surface, let's see if we can see where it is. Once you see your shadow on the surface, that is when you know you're coming close. Where's the sun? Why am I doing this? You just navigate this easier. Actually, forget about it. we're kind of coming down, so it's fine. Where's the sun though? That'd be interesting to know. Don't do this. Just look for your shadow. I'm just kind of fooling around right now, but yeah, just look for your shadow. It'll appear. You'll see it. Once you see it, you'll know you're approaching uh, a good time to like start slowing down to about 50 meters a second. Or I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. But oh, there. See, I think. Oh no no. Where are you, shadow? Whatever. I don't care. I'm just gonna go ahead and start slowing down just because I don't like the way that this is looking right now. Keep following this. Remember, the retrograde. That's important. Very important. Just keep following it because this, if you follow it and you throttle that way, you will fall once it's on this dot, which mine won't be probably, but once it's on this dot, once this tool is on this dot, sorry, you will fall directly down. And this is, I cannot imagine like how important, I don't know how to make this more important or sound more urgent than it actually is. That is so important. It's just, it is pivotal to landing on the moon, especially when with a small craft like this that's top heavy. Uh, you're gonna run into a ton of problems if you don't. But all right, we're starting to come down quite a bit. I'm gonna decelerate more. Um, we're going about 8 meters per second down, and you don't actually want to throttle all the way down. You want to throttle down, but like here. So keep it steady, because you don't want to have to deal with something stupid later. Uh, so you see how we're just following it. This is very simple. It's like following instructions, like building. I don't know if you guys ever built Zoids. You just kind of follow the instructions, and as hard as 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 hard as it may seem, it will eventually work out. All right, so this will move away once you're falling straight down. It will move away from you because it'll say, "Hey, you're moving forward, like you're moving up at that speed." That's why you want to keep it 3. I don't like 3. I like 2 and 1. Oh, good, good, good. Keep it down. Keep it down. Keep falling. Always. Always. And we have touchdown. And then, boom, there it is. Alright, guys, look at that. We are on the moon. At this point, you feel free to do, like, you know, observe your mystery goo, see what it tells you. It probably won't tell me much. I'll probably be taking this back, so I'm going to go ahead and keep the data. You can try and do a crew report. Go ahead and turn the SAS off so your electricity doesn't run out. You'll probably get something. Keep the data from that. Go ahead, EVA, Kerbin. I'm not going to actually go down and collect the surface sample. Man, I really should show you guys this. You know what? Forget it. You guys can skip this, so I'm going to go ahead and do it if you don't want to see this. But hit space. He's going to fall. Hit R, and then that will activate your boosters. Even if he falls, don't worry. He won't get hurt. He's a strong man, Jebediah is. What you can do now is, you can right-click you can EVA, or let's take a surface sample, because that seems to be worth 86 science. Let's do an EV. Did we do it? Yeah, we did an EVA report. Let's plant a flag, and let's call this. Wow, yeah, take your time. Don't you worry. We got plenty of it. We'll waste our viewers' time with a little bit more, shenanigans. Just for that, I'm just gonna call this site name. I'm gonna call it landing. It's very creative, but I'm gonna call it landing. Ah, and then the description is gonna be like, this vid took me like 3 hours to prep for. Yeah. Anyway, Okay, we're gonna do that. And remember, hit R. So when you hit R, your Kerbal, like okay, first of all, wherever you're facing your screen on the moon, if you just hit W, your Kerbal will turn that way, right? Because he's gonna want to walk forward straight. But the way you work your jetpack back here is when you hit R. See, when you hit R, see, watch his hands move. See how they move? He's got it out now. If I hit Shift, Shift is going up. Come on now. And if I hit W, I'll go forward. Now what you want to do is go up here and hit F to grab. You'll grab on, and then you can hit F to board, and you're back on your ship. And now you have experiments and all that good stuff. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to get us back from here. So I'm going to hit F5, just to quick save, in case I need to come back to this part. We're going to go ahead and just lift off by holding shift, and then we're going to put our gear away, and then where are we in terms of where the Kerbin is? Okay, so what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go due east, and then once we see Kerbin, we're going to need to start our throttle, just keep it going towards Kerbin. So let's see. All right, let's just hold shift up. Let's go. We'll hold shift, we'll throttle, put our gears away, and we're going to need to, okay, remember, keep this here. Keep it, hit your, make sure to turn on your SAS again, and then go due east. And you've picked up enough momentum upward already, probably, to be just fine. But as you can see, this is going to extend rapidly. Your apoapsis is going to be 14. Yeah, it's going to climb just because there's no gravity. You know, you don't need that junk on the moon. The moon. I'm going to actually stop right here because at that point, oh, come on now, we're going to be able to see Kerbin. And that's what our point. That's where our final destination is. So I'm just going to speed up time a little bit, see what it'll let me do, and then for some reason this game will let you set Kerbin as a target if you're coming from the moon. So that kind of upsets me, but whatever. Anyway, okay, so we're time warping now just because we want to wait until Kerbin shows up on the horizon. Once it shows up on the horizon, we can throttle that direction, and we will be just fine in getting back to it. And as you can tell, we don't have much fuel left, but if I'm right, we should have enough to get us where we need to be. Come on now. See, this part I'm not very good at. This is where my whole confidence spiel comes in. Have confidence. I'm pretty confident that I know what I'm doing. Oh, Kerbin. All right. So Kerbin has come up on our horizon, and what you want to do now is go. Remember, it was due east, so you just kind of want to do that since we landed pretty well, kind of like we would have lifted off in Kerbin. There it is. Except we're gonna go a little bit further down. There it is. It looks like we're facing Kerbin now, right? I'd say so. And we're just gonna throttle out. And let's look for this. Okay, so we're gonna break the moon's we're gonna break this. We have to break the apoapsis. So you want to slow down again, right? Just like we did before. Because once it breaks, you want to stop because you want to conserve fuel. That's important. All right, and broken, right? Meow, come on. Boom. All right. See that? See how that appeared? That's going to be our new apoapsis and periapsis. So we're going to go ahead, get out of here. And you're going to be right at your apoapsis. So remember, we're going to want to do a retrograde burn to bring that periapsis in as much as we can with the minimal amounts of fuel that we have. And if you guys want to add like a small fuel tank, to this whole thing, you'll probably have enough to do this next step. If I don't make it back, I'll stop the video because you guys will have the tools now to do what you need to do to get back. But all right, I'm a stickler. Oh, okay. So I'm a stickler. I just want to be right at the apoapsis when I'm doing this because I just don't want to waste fuel. Like there's no point. Let's turn that off. Wasting electricity. The last thing I need in this video is to not have enough electricity to move my pod again. And that's gonna suck. Alright, we're almost there. We're getting to it. So I'm going to go to my retrograde burn. That's a retrograde. And so we're here now. It's probably gonna move just slightly as I try to get even closer to the apoapsis. And this is close enough for me. Right there. Okay. Gonna move right on top of this retrograde burn, and then we're gonna do it. And hopefully, see how quickly it falls? Hopefully we'll have enough to get us even back into the atmosphere. I'll be fine with that. As long as it's not 100,000. As long as it's by like 70. Please, 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 please. Yep, there it is. That'll get you back. That'll do it. So you don't even need extra fuel, you just need to be really careful. And throttle, oh, okay. And that's, well, now we are actually inside Kerbin because we have no more periapsis, or we don't have a periapsis anymore. At this point, you guys are home free. You guys are going to get some science out of this whole journey. I hope that you enjoy this video. The last stages are you hit space. Once again, you're going to decouple this whole shindig right here. And then you're gonna deploy your parachute at the same time, and then your pod is going to land. Just simple stuff. um I'm not going to keep you much longer. I'm just gonna go until this video. No, I won't keep you guys. um just you can fast forward. You know what, save here. If you guys make it this far, definitely save, because sometimes you'll time warp right into the Earth's surface, or Kerbin's surface, and that really sucks because then you will lose all the science and you will lose what you've done. Um, Watch. Ooh, just barely missed it. Okay, let's see. Hit that. Oh, we're lagging immensely, and then I'm gonna do a prograde burn actually because we're at our periapsis almost, and that's gonna slow us down at this point. See, watch this. If you do a burn. Oh no, never mind. Ooh, I was wrong. Can you believe that? I was wrong. Sorry, retrograde. So yeah, keep that rule of thumb in mind. Retrograde always slows you down. Boom, 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 boom. Look at all that fuel we had. We could have retracted this much more. Oh, and we're over. So I am gonna go ahead and which way is Kerbin? That way. So I'm gonna hit space quite right now. We'll wait. We will face this. I will face the space. Oh, look at, we're at 90. We're falling rapidly. Watch. As soon as we go through re-entry, I will deploy my parachute. Even though I think even with the update, like your parachutes don't burn off in space, which is fine. Um, we will land during the nighttime in Kerbin. It's just the worst because then you have to follow it all the way down, and I won't do that with you guys. I'll let you go. But yeah, if you can please leave a comment or like the video, send me a message or something letting me know how you guys liked it and what, if anything, it did for you. just please do that because it helps me. And if you want something, if you want another tutorial on something else, you can go ahead and tell me also. Uh, I'm not going to be opposed to doing more tutorials, but for now, I'm going to see you guys later and land my Kerbal and get the science. See you guys. Thanks for watching.